the only war the British Empire ever lost. When you think of the most powerful empires in history, the British Empire is often brought up. This empire was so powerful that it literally had the sun never setting on its lands. But even this empire had its weaknesses, and there was one small but very fierce nation that was able to defeat them. That nation is Afghanistan. They were led by the legendary General Douglas Haig, who would later become famous for his incompetence during World War I. The British were completely caught off guard, and they were wiped out. And I'd also like to take a moment to shout out some of our supporters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. This victory would ensure Afghanistan's independence, and it would be the only war the British Empire would ever lose. The British had planned to simply walk into Kabul and take the city, but they had vastly overestimated their army's capabilities. Not only were the Afghan forces much more numerous than they had expected, but they were also much more fierce. The Afghans had been fighting against the British for decades, and they knew the terrain like the back of their hands. This led to the British being pushed back further and further until they were forced to retreat. In order to save face, Haig would order his men to destroy all of the villages and farms they were staying in before retreating. This only further enraged the Afghans, who were already furious about the British taking their land. But how did they do it? Well, that's what I'll explain right now. The story takes place in the 1800s when most of the world was ruled by either the British or the Dutch. The British were, of course, trying to expand their empire while the Dutch were desperately trying to hold on to theirs. But there was one small nation that didn't belong to either of these empires, and that was Afghanistan. The Afghans had managed to remain independent throughout the 1800s, much to the annoyance of the British. This would all come to a head in 1919 when the Third Anglo-Afghan War would take place. This war would be the last straw for the British, as they would lose it, and with it, they would lose their chance to ever control Afghanistan. The war began with the British invading Afghanistan with a force of over 60,000 troops. As the British were retreating, they were ambushed by Afghan forces led by the legendary Amanullah Khan. That's all for today. But before you go, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can be notified when I post my next video.